All right, and we are live. How's it going, everybody? Mark Howell here with Fun to Life. Here with a special guest, Dustin Kuras of Nurture Family Dental. What's up, Dustin? How's it going, buddy?
Things are wonderful. Given the circumstance, still wonderful, buddy.
I like it. I like it. That's a fantastic answer. I like that. I bet your office is a little bit quieter today.
I'm the only one here. As you can tell, we're having a little bit of construction done via the barter system from some family friends. What a perfect time. So we're building the doctors a new office space because one of them didn't have one. So now they will.
Yep. That's awesome. Yeah. I'm stuck at home, so I've still got the family running around. I wasn't able to pull the car. There's still people in our office building, so I wasn't able to be like, hey, I'm going to go to the office today. So I'm stuck here in front of the fire, warming my backside, sitting Indian style, less, not very comfortable, but it's all good.
It looks good. It looks good.
Well, hey, wanted to hop on with you today. Nurtures, for those that are watching, are one of our huge supporters at Fun to Life. They're a mission partner of ours, which basically just means that they buy into the mission. They're amazing partners. They support us in a lot of different ways. Dustin and his family own Nurture Family Dental right in downtown Brighton. And I'll let you kind of introduce yourself and, the practice and everything. But thank you for hopping on, and maybe share with the people a little bit about yourself and who you guys are, and we'll kind of take it from there.
Sure. Always good to talk with you, Mark. So I'm the business director of Nurture Family Dental. Like Mark said, we're here in downtown Brighton. My wife, Dawn Kuras, is the owner, the true owner, and the clinical director of the place.
Clearly the brains.
Clearly the brains, and I'm clearly the beauty, right? Yeah.
She might be the brains and the beauty, just saying.
We hope so. We're figuring that out, but I'm pretty sure that's the case, yeah. So we purchased an existing practice from a retiring provider in August of 2016 and have done our best to increase the ability to serve this growing community in Livingston County. We moved out here. We've fallen in love with the community. Can't think of a better place to settle. We're raising our 4 kids here, and Nurture Family Dental is growing by leaps and bounds. That's one of the most frustrating things about the current scenario is it kind of stubbed the toe with regards to our growth. That's okay. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but we're prepped for a huge comeback. Let's put it that way. Awesome. But we've expanded. When we originally took over, there were 4 team members besides Dawn and myself. We're now up to 10 team members. Wow. We're growing leaps and bounds, bringing in new younger families, and we're really trying to instill in the community that we do have a passion for what we're doing, and we are all about patient first. And everything that we do in our culture, in our team, everything is geared towards providing a unique experience in dentistry for each individual patient. I think we've done some really good stuff. I really enjoy mixing it up with the patients, and it's provided a lot of opportunities personally for me and Dawn that we didn't really think about when we first started. When we purchased this place, and we can talk about that a little bit too. One of them is meeting wonderful people like yourself and building awesome relationships with you, Mark. So thank you for that. But we're here to serve, and whenever the state of emergency declaration is lifted, we are back. Right now we're just seeing emergency cases at somewhat limited basis based on what we can do just to prevent any emergencies from going to the hospital, to lessen their load. So we'll do what we can with that. But until then, we're no longer able to see any of our regular hygiene patients, but we're rip-roaring and ready to go when we can. So
awesome. No, thank you for the intro. And if I'm not correct, or if I'm not wrong, I think you guys actually live in our old sub, so that's a
we do.
You got there too.
Is it two houses down? I think, right?
Yeah, something like that. I remember when I first heard that, when I came in the office and learned you guys lived over there, I was like, no way! Like, what a small world. That's just
it's crazy.
Weird,
Smaller every day,
brother. I've already been here for 4 years. I mean, it feels like, switching, because I was with the old, practice, and then just kind of migrated into you guys when, got the letter, and then got the phone calls. Like, yeah, I'll stay here. I guess I don't really know, any difference. And I remember walking in that first day, and what an amazing experience. And I will admit to everybody right now, I hate the dentist's office. I hate it. I've hated it my entire life. I am a giant pansy with anything like mouth pain. Oh my gosh. Give me cancer surgery all day. I want to do with the dentist chair. Nothing to do with it. Give me staples, give me stitches. Don't go in my mouth. seriously though, I mean, I walked in and the team there that greets you, I mean, all the hygienists, everybody that's there is just, you just feel like a breath of fresh air. And honestly, that's in any doctor's office, that's rare, but especially in a dentist office as well. It's just, you guys have done an amazing job of establishing a warm culture in kind of one of those industries that's kind of, you know, like fearful. People they don't really get pumped up to go to the dentist, right?
Exactly.
But it's one of those necessities. No. And just kind of talk to maybe the audience a little bit and explain, like, how are you guys able to establish such, I mean, it feels like a family in there. I mean, you guys feel like a family. And honestly, like coming in there as one of your patients, I feel like I'm family with everybody. I mean, I've walked in several times. I've just stopped in because I'm kind of around the corner. I'm like, yeah, I'll just stop in and say hi and see if Dustin's in. Is Dawn busy? I mean, you guys have done an awesome job of creating that. How, I mean, what are the secrets? How have you guys done that? What have you, you know, I mean, the culture, I can talk about culture with you guys all day long because it's so amazing. I mean, share kind of what some of the things that you guys embody there.
Sure. So it all started, I would say, with my career at first. So I spent over a decade in supply chain management and sales management for big steel companies and aerospace companies. So I worked for some very large companies, Fortune 100 companies, and kind of got ingrained in the corporate culture, so to speak.
Okay.
Not a place I like to be. It's not meant for a happy person. I'm sure a lot of people that are listening can get with that. I'm a happy person by nature. I've always been kind of the ham of the family and all that stuff. And that I found myself after like year 10, I was not that person anymore. And it came from Dawn and my mom that they were just kind of like, what's going on with you? And it really led me to understand I was going through depression. It just wow. Beat me down. I was good at what I did, but I became a yes man, and that is not a good place to be. Learned some hard lessons in that. So I got out of that. We were fortunate enough that where Dawn was, she was doing well enough as an associate dentist after she graduated from school for me to step away from that career and be a stay-at-home dad for a year and a half once we had our second kid. So I did that for a year and a half, and my job at that point was to obviously raise those two kids that we had and find a practice for us to buy. That was the game plan as soon as she was accepted into dental school. And part of that plan was me running the business side of things. So my passion, Dawn brings the passion for dentistry and for patient care. My passion for an outlook for this business that we were going to look into to purchase was to create an environment to where my end goal, I know everybody's going to have bad days of work regardless of what you're doing.
Sure.
But to create an environment and to create a community and a sense of family within your coworkers and stuff to where you don't mind coming to work every day. I'm not saying you have to love it every day. You're gonna though, if we create something that you don't mind coming to every day, regardless of what your attitude is. So that being said, that was my passion, was to create a really cool environment to work at. And so I know a lot of what not to do based on my previous life. I needed to learn what to do and how to work on that. So we paired up with some good consulting groups, and I've read a lot of books on culture and things like that, and what works and why. I'm really big into the psychological game and understanding why people act certain ways, why they behave certain ways, things like that. So we do a lot of things, and basically what it's come down to is our team. You have to have the team, and they have to buy into your philosophy. So it starts from the top. I'm never going to ask anybody to do something that they wouldn't know that I wouldn't do myself. So it's servant leadership awesome. Right out of the gate from me and Dawn. And I can see it with Fund to Life. That's what works. People respond positively. If they know you've got their back, they're going to have your back. So it starts there. There's so many things that we do internally, and not only from a clinical perspective to make sure that our patients are getting the best care possible, but in the same vein, they're getting the best experience on top of it because they're not mutually exclusive. Like you said, you get that feeling as soon as you walk in the door, that warm, inviting feeling. We know that if we get somebody in our door, we're so confident that they're going to stay with us because we know that we're doing the right things for them. We have their best interest at heart. I'm going
to interrupt you for
please,
a minute because like, even from my standpoint, you say something awesome there because I don't know anything about dentistry. I don't know what's right or wrong for my care, my teeth, my anything else, right? And I don't know, your wife seems like a great doctor. All the hygienists seem great. I wouldn't know if they weren't great. All I know is they treat me awesome. I really enjoy going there and being in their presence. I enjoy communicating with them. I enjoy being a part of, your patient team. And, you know, that to me means everything. And so because of that, and I know that they're genuine people, I know that they have my best interests at heart. And it's almost like everything else, I don't even care about everything else. You know, they're going to do the best that they can for me. And at the end of the day, I feel good about that. And it's like, that's amazing on top of them being good doctors, being good everything else. It's like.
Absolutely, right?
You know?
And so a lot of it comes from, like you said, you could sell anything, right? If you've got great salespeople, we could have the worst hygienists in the world, which we don't. We have the greatest ones. So, but I mean, people remember, what is it, 90% of what you make them feel and 10% of what they hear and whatever. I can't remember what the words are, but it's all about experience and feel. People remember how you make them feel. So our goal is to not only give them a world-class and category 1 experience in our office, but also the best care as well. So to combine that, and it speaks to the culture, we reinvest in our team, in our business. I'm not saving for a Porsche right now. I'm not saving for any of that. We're going to drive that 2013.
You have too many kids for a Porsche, dude.
Exactly. Right? I'm going to drive that 2013 Equinox into the garage. And mind you, you're going to hear me coming from miles away.
I love it.
Loud,
I love it.
Right? But we're going to reinvest continually into this business. That's my passion. Give our team the best tools, the best technology to not only make their job easier and more efficient, but to make sure that the patient's experience is easier, more efficient, and more beneficial to them. So when they see me walking the talk, they do it as well. And it's vice versa, right? I expect this. We have high expectations for our team members. In turn, I tell them to have high expectations of both me and Dawn. And
awesome.
When it comes to attitude in the office, I'm always the most charismatic. I want you to meet me here. And I don't say that to pat myself on the back. That's just the person that I am. But my thing is, I don't know if I've heard this somewhere, but this is my go-to phrase. Customer service isn't always fun, but it's always easy. And I truly, truly believe that. In my years of experience, I've got 15, 17 years of customer service experience now, patient service experience now. It's easy. It's not always fun though. You're going to get people that are having bad days. You're going to get people that are bringing problems to you, and that's okay. That's what we're here for. There's always a workaround. And so what we try to do is we try to train our team from a clinical and a patient experience standpoint to make sure that they're verbally equipped and that they're mentally equipped to handle any situation that comes through our door, and do it so in a positive way to give our patient those the best experiences. So to enrich the culture, not only do we do outside outings with the team, we incentivize the team. If we hit certain goals based on patient experience levels and things like that, we reward them. We'll take them out. Last summer, we did a huge blowout. We got a party bus and we went to the Hootie and the Blowfish concert at DTE. And we went to Top Golf beforehand, did dinner and stuff. It was a blast. It was so much fun. We're trying to put one of those on the calendar every quarter, in addition to other things that we do internally for fun. We do lunches all the time and stuff like that. But
I think
on
your
top of that,
patients are on board for that too. I mean, I'll pay attention. I mean, I'm in.
You sound like Jimmy John Wednesdays.
Right? On staff. I can bring toothbrushes or something.
we can talk about that.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Right? I like it. Yeah.
Well, and we let everybody know, we're going to continually reinvest in you, and we bring in companies to train them on clinical topics to make sure that their skills are sharpened as much as possible. We bring them in to talk about focusing on how to answer the phones properly and make sure that everyone's heard and that we're listening to each patient's individual needs and concerns. We take the time to interview the patient. Every new patient that comes to our door gets a new patient interview. We want to know what their concerns are. Do they have any fears? So we can best serve and tailor their needs to the way they need to hear it and the way that's going to be best for them. So we try and think about everything when it comes to patient experience and anticipate what is going to happen. There's a lot of things that we do right from the phone call at the get-go to make sure that we're prepping the clinical team for who's coming in that day, what their needs are going to be, so we can try and anticipate and reduce variability in our day. Doing so is going to make everything run smoother. Everybody's happier. Everybody's got each other's back. So like I said earlier, we've got very high expectations of everybody. In turn, we tell them to have high expectations of us and to come to us if they feel like we're letting them down in any way. We say that with everybody that we interview. We're not shy about it. And I think that's been the biggest thing for me and Dawn to learn as business owners is you do need to have some hard conversations with people sometimes. There's going to be days that don't go perfectly as well as you can set that up in dentistry. Anytime you have a schedule, it's going to fall apart sometimes. Things happen. You get cruddy weather. You get this, right?
Yeah, literally stuff falls apart.
I haven't had anybody in 2 weeks. That's a problem. Yeah, right? Trying to prepare in advance as much as possible and making that preparation routine says a lot about our team and the ability for them to reduce. Again, I say it all the time around here. They're probably sick of me saying is reduce variability in your day. Doing so is going to allow you to have the best day possible because there's no surprises, no curveballs. We're talking straight 90-mile-an-hour, two-seam fastballs right down the middle. We're just going to continue to crank out left and right. So reinvesting in the team, letting them know we have their back, and then setting up structure and systems in place in our office to reduce that variability. It's going to reduce the number of bad days you have. When everybody's winning, everybody's happy, things get along great. You feel it, we feel it. The last thing I want is for a patient to come in and feel that there's tension in our office or something like that. So we do everything we can to reduce that as much as possible. As humans, it's going to happen, but we've got ways to mitigate that. And it speaks volumes. We've got some great relationships with our team. And like you said, they feel like family to us. I tell them I love them. I do weekly communication emails on Sunday to give them a heads up on what's coming this week, what we're expecting in certain things, certain patients that are coming in, things to look out for, opportunities to look out for, any VIPs that are coming in that week, like a Mark Howell. As well as look back at our success of the past week. And then I try and throw some funny stuff in for some levity, just to make it not all about numbers because I am the numbers guy. But there's a lot of things that we try and do just to break the mold of what a normal business should be, especially in dentistry. I think dentistry's come a long way, but you probably don't know this, but up until I think it was like the early, might have been mid 80s to late 80s, dentists weren't allowed to advertise. It was illegal.
Really?
It was illegal.
That's weird.
Right? And I don't know why, but I've read about this and I've heard it from multiple sources. So when this came in, it was kind of unheard of and people were afraid. So I think dentistry is still evolving as far as it comes with advertising and getting themselves out there and stuff like that. So we're trying to do our best to buck the trend and be as much face forward as possible. And then the last piece of it is we let them know. They want to know. This was something that I really didn't think about when we first got this business, was the impact that we could have on other communities, other families, and other foundations. So we've got the general public coming through our doors. We're seeing more and more people every day. You meet a lot of people that have a lot of passion. They have their own foundation like yourself. I had no idea that we'd have opportunities like this. So not only with Fund to Life, you guys we've kind of came together as a team and voted you guys as who we like to give most to. But there's other foundations, there's sports teams, there's kids high, I didn't even think about this stuff when we bought that place in August of 16,
right.
The impact that we could have. It's the coolest thing in the world. It's so fantastic. And our goal right now is just to pay down all of our business debt and everything as quickly as possible so that we can do more of this, because this is amazing. Have more community outreach and really make an impact. So seeing what you guys are doing and seeing what some of the other community, I know you guys are working with, the food places that you just
Bountiful Harvest and the Torch.
Bountiful Harvest and Torch.
Yep.
Like that is cool stuff. And then with the masks and stuff that you're donating to PPE last week, that's the kind of stuff that we want to get more involved in and do more of. And we're doing our best to build that culture to do more of that. Patients see that, they come here, we get bigger, we're able to do that on a larger scale. So that's, the snowball effect that we're looking for.
Yeah. Well, I know the culture is definitely there. I mean, even just walking through the door, like I said, that first impression you get, in any customer service business, is so important. But when you walk in and you see, Kelly's smiley face and everybody else just kind of greeting you and, people coming out and like everyone's just so happy. And it's whether they're faking it till they make it or they're actually genuine, you get that genuine feel.
But you'll never know either, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
Right?
And, no one has a good day every day like you alluded to. But They do a great job of when they hit, they take obviously a lot of pride in representing you and Dawn well, representing Nurture's brand well, and representing themselves well. And ultimately, too, like that's something that's just so contagious that, you do walk in, you kind of force yourself to put on a happy face. By the end of the day, you end up walking out of there with a better attitude than maybe you started with, even on a crappy day anyways. And it's amazing.
I really feel like that's like the compliment we're looking for. I mean, if people that, like you said, not many people like going to the dentist. If they do, that's cool, to each their own. But we get that. And when majority of our patients are leaving with a smile on their face, even if there's a little gauze stuck in the back, cool. Like that's a huge win. We're so happy about that. So that's kind of what drives us. And that's always fun. And I love interacting with the patients. I can get out of this back office here. And I do my best to try and get out in front of every new patient to meet. everybody there's a lot to meet, but that's a good problem to have. So it's been a wonderful ride. And like you said, I can't believe it's almost been 4 years already. It's warp speed, man.
That's crazy. I know. I can't believe that. I can't believe I've been going there for that long. And I mean, I know like really in the last 2 years is when our relationship has really, come to fruition. And it's just been such a great experience getting to know you guys. You guys have an amazing team. I mean, I could go on and on and on about it, right? But I mean, kind of keeping with that theme. So obviously, you guys are shut down right now, the rest of the universe.
Right.
You're a small business in downtown Brighton. How is your culture helping or impacting your ability to navigate these workers who, have obviously professional jobs with you?
Sure.
You have that family-oriented team that are relying on their incomes and stuff. How has that impacted them, I don't want to say loyalty, but like their commitment to you guys and staying with you? And how is that? How are you navigating all of this, I guess?
Sure. So it hasn't been easy. I'll say that. And anyone I think that says it's easy is lying. But
right.
Obviously, it was a weird situation. And it didn't feel real until it, like, boom, felt real, right? Once, I think it was like the NBA shutting down. That was the first big domino that everyone was kind of like, oh, what's going on here?
100%.
And then, within less than a week of that, we worked our last day. And it was a recommendation from the Michigan Dental Association to say, you guys we're urging you to shut down for 2 weeks. And then the ADA came out and said the same thing, but they said 3 weeks. And then a couple of days later, Governor Whitmer came out and said, doesn't matter what they say, done, right? So we were shut down until the state of emergency is relieved, whenever that's going to be. So we worked up until Tuesday the 17th. St. Patty's Day was our last day that we worked.
Okay.
And it kind of just all came to a screeching halt. We knew Monday that we were going to shut down Tuesday. So we talked to the team Monday and we said, this is what we're going to end up doing. It's a business. It's a numbers game, right? And I guess this is where the culture comes into play. We're able to have that conversation. It wasn't an easy conversation to have, but we're all adults and there's no trying to sugarcoat this thing for what it is. As a business, we can't afford to just pay you guys when we don't have anybody coming in, right? So there's no revenue being generated. There's no way to pay you except for taking on debt. That doesn't make sense as a business. So we had to lay everybody off temporarily. So our income goes to zero, their income goes to zero. It's a horrible situation, but they know, and I continue to communicate them through weekly emails and videos that I've been sending them. We're doing everything we can, not only for our patients, but for them, to make sure when we get the green light that we are back immediately and that schedule is as full as can be and we're just churning and burning. So from a business standpoint, they know that we're going to be ready to go. Like I said, right before we were going down, we were supposed to have our best month ever in March in so many fronts. We're going to see the most new patients. We were having the best experiences with a lot of these new patients, and there's a lot of good stories that you get to hear when you're interviewing these patients and trying to get to know how to speak to them best and open the lines of communication. And then we have this hit. So we're going weeks at a time without all of these patients that had appointments booked for us. So we know they're going to be coming back. It's just a matter of figuring this out. So part of the culture, one of the things that I asked them that Monday night when I told them that we've got to stop operating after tomorrow was, I want you guys to think about long and hard. This is going to be a tough, however many weeks this is going to last. It's undefined at this time, and I wish I could tell you when, but I can't. What will you be willing to do to recoup some of this time? Because theoretically, if we came back and we just opened up our normal hours, we're never getting this time back. There's no chance to recoup those losses, so to speak, right, for that team.
Well, and how are you it's going to take so long to recapture. How are you going to squeeze those new clients back in? I mean, your schedule already is packed, right? So it's like, how do we logistically just make that happen?
Right. So I asked them to start thinking about, let's say we come back after this 3 weeks. So let's say April 13th, that was the first deadline when Governor Whitmer, and I'm sure she's going to extend it this week. Let's say we come back on the 14th. I need to know what your schedule is willing to look like based on coming back on the 14th. Are you willing to work extra hours? Which day of the week? Let's all get together. Let me know, let Dawn know, and let Kelly up front know so she can schedule appropriately. Everybody came back and they're just like, I'll work whatever we need. I'll work. Like we've never worked Saturdays before. We're looking at some Saturdays coming up. just to be able to serve those patients, because there's going to be patients that have more dire needs as far as hygiene goes than others. Some that may need some restorative work more so than others. We want to make sure those get prioritized and that we have the time to see them without, slighting anybody else as well. So speaking to the culture side of things, everybody jumped at the chance to just be willing to work more to come back and help see all these patients, which was huge. That was such a relief for me and Dawn, just from a business owner standpoint. But again, another reminder of we've got a wonderful team and they're willing to do whatever it takes for our patients, which is a great thing. So I think that's
amazing, because even though obviously they'll be paid and compensated in so many places, everyone has a cap, right? And a lot of people would be like,
sure.
No, I'll be good just returning to my position, whatever that will look
sure.
like, part-time, full-time, flex, whatever. And a lot of places would beg for people to be like, you know what, I'm all in, and when they do that, it's not just for their own income and trying to recoup it. They're in for you.
Sure.
And that's a huge reflection on, again, the culture you've built, underneath Nurture's name. I mean, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And that goes to the same thing. It's the servant leadership, right? I really want them to know, and I think I've done a good job of this. They would speak to it. Obviously, I can't speak for them, but for them to know that there's, again, nothing I'm going to ask them to do isn't something that I wouldn't do myself, right? Or haven't already done in front of them. And so I think that goes a very, very long way. And then again, it just talks about, they know down the road, Dawn and I are never going to become absentee owners. We're not going to get so big that we're just like, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Everything looks good here. Like, that ain't going to happen. This is our baby. We protect this thing like one of our children, and we fiercely steward over it because of that. Obviously, it's our livelihood, but we know that the livelihood of our entire team's at stake as well. So they don't deserve absentee owners. They deserve way more than that. They deserve us full time and present. So those are the type of people that we're going to be. And it'll get easier for us as our children get older, right? So we'll be able to dedicate even more time, which is fantastic. But looking at my past career and looking at what I've got now, I love coming to work every day. I don't mind working from home at like 10:30 at night. Because the kids had some activities earlier in the day that I wasn't able to be here a little bit longer. The team gets it. They know that I'm working for them. Just because I might not be here, my schedule kind of changes up by the week. They know that I'm not just going to a movie and just doing whatever, right? So,
all weekend, I think we were texting primarily between 11 p.m. and midnight, right?
Exactly.
Hey, you want to set up a call? Let's talk about this. Let's do that.
Because we're up, right?
Exactly. I was like, hey, I'm not going to be afraid to text him. I know he's up because this is his alone time. I know he's up.
It is, exactly. It's so funny. Dawn and I talk about that all the time. She's like, you ready to go to bed? I'm like, I have nobody talking to me right now, and like, the 1988 Western Conference Finals is on NBA TV. I'm good.
I know Christina does that a lot. She's like, all right, honey, I'm going to go to bed. I'm like, all right, good night. She's like, oh, you're not going to bed? I'm like, nope. Not for like 4 hours.
Right, I know. And then heaven forbid, like, I've gotten back into video gaming just a smidge during this shutdown. I haven't touched a video game in like 3 or 4 years. I picked one up and I'm like hooked again. I was like,
I know.
I gave it 2 hours. I laid in bed from noon or midnight to 2 one night. And I was just thinking about the business and the numbers and the paid check protection loan and all this stuff. I'm like, there's no way I'm sleeping tonight. I'm going to go play it. So I played for like 6 hours. And then the kids were up. I'm like, all right, let's do this. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was a good day. Something I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So again, some more silver type linings in this weird circumstance. But yeah, I mean, back to the culture thing. It's the most important thing. And to be honest, from a business standpoint, our culture is our competitive advantage. That is it right then and there. You don't have that, you're not going to thrive. There's just no two ways about it. So that's something that we're continually focusing on. 2019 was a big year for us with culture. We started getting bigger and we started bringing on more help. And that allowed us to run a little less spread so thin and to kind of really empower some of the teammates and team members to have more of a say in what kind of cultural type events and things that we do. Because for the first couple of years we're doing this, it's like we're planning the Christmas party and it's like, this isn't for us. This is for them.
Right.
What do you guys want? What do you want to do for our Christmas party? What do you want to do for our next outing? Here's the budget, plan it. And they've taken it by the reins and ran with it. And we have more fun doing it their way. Yeah. Why not? Right. So that's kind of the focus, that empower the team to take more of the lead with culture. We've set the example. We've done so for 3.5, 4 years. they know what it is now. We'll let any new team member that comes along know, and we'll again exemplify that. But the team they're so good and they're so wonderful and they're so passionate and have so much pride in what they do. Like you said, why can't they take the ball and run with it for a while too? So it's been fun to watch them grow. And Dawn and I have one-on-ones with team members here and there, and we get in depth with them. And again, like you said, it's a family. We have some real conversations with them about and how to become their best self and things like that. And I think that goes over really well. I know it would for me. Nobody ever did that for me in corporate life, right? My reviews were, here's your numbers. Did you hit them or did you not? You're a good employee. You're a bad employee. Bye. See you next year. It's like, okay, that was stupid. So we try and meet way more often than that and have more real conversations about and really hopefully help them see the value that they provide to not only nurture family dental, but the more important part is the lives of our patients and the impact they have on them. Because the stories some of our patients have and the turnaround that they see just because of what we can do for their smile is incredible. And it just reignites any pilot light that may have gone out here or there for anybody here. So it's a wonderful place. It's wonderful. I'm way too positive right now.
No, this is how you are all the time. That's why I like spending time with you, man. It's awesome. It's just sort of fit, you know? That's you said something really interesting, you know, and I think that's you know, we've been talking a lot about culture, and early on you mentioned, you know, investing back into the company, investing into people, and I think that goes back to show, you said 2019 was such a big year for you guys in your growth and everything else that allowed you to not spread everyone so thin. And I think that's such an awesome perspective, because so many businesses, after being in business 4 or 5 year marker, start to look at maybe the bottom line more, like, all right, you know, now we've reached a certain point of growth. Now we need to become more profitable, or we need to be chiseling away and maybe spread people a little bit thinner and use them in different ways. And instead, you guys chose, hey, let's grow our team. Let's let everybody essentially like blow up in their awesomeness and just like really take hold of their ownership of whatever their role is. And that ends up having such a steamroll and a momentous effect on the business continuing to exponentially grow. And I think, you know, what an awesome choice for you guys to kind of invest more into the business at that point, rather than, you know, scaling back and saying like, all right, now's the time that we just need to ride it out and be real profitable. And you guys are choosing to keep going all in. I love it.
And I don't really see us changing course with that, because that's no fun. I mean, really, like, that's when you start slashing and you start cutting, and not that we're wasteful one bit. We run things very more efficiently every day, right? And we're still learning. We're still new in the game in the grand scheme of things. We're only in year 4. The business fundamentals and the principles never change. They stay the same. But again, it's empowering people. Servant leadership is the opposite of a micromanager, right? And it's I was micromanaged a lot in my prior career. And again, it was showing me what not to do. Why employ somebody to do something that they're so wonderfully skilled and great at if you're going to just micromanage the heck out of it? It's here. This is your pasture. Run. Do what you do best, right? I shouldn't get in the way of that. I just want to provide you more tools and more things to make you more efficient and happier. So I say it to them all the time. And I said, you guys we have all these wonderful meetings because things just keep going up. And it's just like, just keep doing this and I can buy you more shiny, awesome things that help you do things better. Like, I love doing that. I'll cut that check all day. And then like you spoke about with, you know, small businesses hitting that 4 or 5 year mark where you get more revenue. That revenue number continues to go up. That doesn't mean your expenses go down, or sometimes they rise with it, all that. Obviously you want to keep overhead down from a business standpoint, but you don't want to be afraid to take on debt as long as that debt is going to get you a return. And I'm willing to take on debt all freaking day as a business manager, as long as I'm getting a return on it. Come on, I'll pay that debt down as I'm making more money on it because of that. And that's investing in a team and investing in tools and technology that's going to make us a better office for our patients. Why wouldn't I do that? We're going to see that return. Continue to do it. And so, like you said, instead of looking at I of course look at the bottom line every day, but I don't use it as a means to try and grow that bottom line. I want to make sure that we're getting returns on the debt that we do have, and that I'm able to continue to reinvest in this business. As long as we're able to do that, I don't see why that should ever stop. So
that's amazing. That's awesome. You guys rock, man. I mean, you do.
We're having fun, so what the heck? Yeah.
I know, right? So obviously, you know, you mentioned, you know, it's you, Dawn, and then you got 4 kids, right? So and you're small business owners, and now you're home and you're doing all that. So what's kind of next? I mean, how are you guys managing just from a personal standpoint, being vulnerable? Because all of us we're all real people at home. We're doing calls from home or an empty office. I mean, how are you guys doing emotionally? Sanity checks, are you guys having your daily blow-ups like I am in my house? I'm ready to just,
No.
That's just me. All right, good. I'm glad it's just my family. Excellent.
If we had like the same meetings we had here, everything here is doing this up, depending on which direction I need to do this. At home, it's it's the roller coaster, right? Yeah.
So just be doing this. It might just be doing
So I would say first off, when this all hit and we found out we were gonna have to shut down, it was a good 2 or 3 days. We were just kind of like gut punch city, right? And I knew we'd be all right. I'm an eternal optimist. Sometimes it gets me in trouble, but it's more fun to live that way, right? We looked at things. I knew we would be okay. I immediately started looking at our balance sheet, our profit and loss statement, and then I'm like, no, hold on. We need to do our personal finances first. Personal takes precedent. Look at what we can live off of, bare bones, and then build on that based on what we have in the bank today, because that's not going up from here on until we get back to work, right? So here's the number. Can we live off of that based on cutting this? So Dawn and I sat down, and thankfully, again, blessing in disguise, about 2 months prior, she and I just decided to have another sit down. We've got a 10-year plan for personal and business that we continue to evolve every 6 months or so. We've got 3-year plans, 2-year plans, a lot of nerdy paperwork that we've done over the years, which is great. And it's beneficial for us in times like this to fall right back on, because we've already done the work. It's just rehashing it. And so we had just gone through looking at things that we could cut in our personal life. We cut 1 or 2 just because it's something we hadn't used or whatever. But we had that list. We went right back to it. And it's like, awesome. Nope. And we just cut. And it really, I think it was better to do it on the personal side first, because obviously we have a mortgage to pay, we have kids to feed, and that's the most important thing, is the kids. And then we can reflect on using the same for the business side. And it was interesting to kind of go through that list and cut so much and realize we don't need a lot of the stuff that we're spending on. So it's going to be interesting to see how things come back, just from an overall perspective, community-wise, what our friends are going to be doing and stuff like that, and how we're living differently. I don't know that it's going to be a wholesale change. I don't really think that's going to happen. A lot will fall back into the same old day-to-day type stuff, but there's definitely some stuff that we could live without just kind of reframing the mindset on what's important, which has been good. Obviously, the time at home with the kids has been time at home with the kids. You have your wonderful days, right, where you're outside, you beautiful sunny days that we've had the last couple of days, playing outside with them, going on nice long walks, having ice cream, whatever. And then you have your days where it's a little cabin feverish. It's raining outside. It's like 45. You're just like, yeah, you can have another hour with that iPad. That's fine, because Daddy needs some sanity, right? And Dawn and I mean, I think we've had one night where we've kind of gone at each other a little bit. We don't fight. And I'm sure it's the same with you and Christina. It's like, but you had your moments, right? And you argue over some piddly little stuff. And that's when you go, we need to take a step back here. Like, this doesn't matter. Let's kind of reassess. And we start over again. We do. And then the next day comes up. It's kind of like it's Groundhog Day over and over. You just try to find out to throw in a little variability here and there just to mix it up a little bit. But we're doing okay. After that 1.5 years when I was a stay-at-home dad, I found out I was not cut out to be a stay-at-home dad. That's not to say that I wasn't a good father or didn't do what they needed. It was just, I need to interact with other adults. I need to be building something, right? And it's so funny, this all hit when it did. Dawn and I were just talking about me. I'm like, I need a big project. Nurture Family Dental is growing. It's great. We're maintaining that growth. We're managing it properly, but I need another big project. And we're looking at maybe expanding and building a new building and stuff like that. Well, that's obviously getting pushed out a little bit now because of what's going on, but that was going to be my next thing. And it's just like, you take it for granted that things were so good. Yeah, we work on it every day, but things can happen. So this was a good reminder of that. And I think coming out of this, we'll look to set up some more contingency plans in both personal and business life, just to kind of be ready. I try to be as real as possible. I'm an optimist, but I'm also a realist too, because I don't want to be, knuckleballed out of nowhere. We're doing well enough to where we'll be fine. We'll make it through. We're gonna run lean because we have to, and that's what's necessary. But maybe next time, maybe we can do some things to kind of skirt some of the shock if something like this was to come again, and be a little more prepared. I think most people are going to probably feel the same way, right? Nobody could have really predicted the effect that this was going to have on everything. So I think coming out of this, it's looking to get ourselves into a stronger contingent position just in case something weird happens again. But as far as the home life, it's good. It's cool to see we've got 2 birthdays that are happening. Our 2-year-old just turned 3 2 weeks ago. Our
Awesome.
4-year-old's going to be turning 5 next week. And they're both boys, and they're both insane and crazy and wonderful and cute and cavemen at the same time.
Yeah.
And then you've got our 6-year-old is in kindergarten, so she's kind of doing the distance learning thing right now through St. Pat's. And then we've got our 9-month-old baby who's huge. She's a big ball of blubber and adorable as it can be. So there's so many different roles in the house going on right now in different stages of life. So it's definitely keeping us busy. We're definitely sometimes just living until the next nap time. And then there's some days that we're raring to go and let's live life and have fun and enjoy those moments. So it's a huge mix of everything, probably the same as you guys, right?
Yeah, I think the thing I'm finding is the flexibility that this is almost giving us flexibility with our time with our kids instead of daily being here or there. Sure. You're here to spend whatever time we want with them, which is amazing. And we're kind of at their beck and call to, hey, Dad, you want to come outside for a couple hours and do whatever? It's right after this call, I can go do that,
Sure.
And then maybe I'll do some more work tonight at 11 o'clock or whatever.
Right.
And that's the one really cool thing. And then obviously it has the cons of, well, there is no flexibility because we're all here all the time.
Good thing I love you all.
Yes. Yeah. But, everyone's in it together, and it's, I know that I preach it on social media and everywhere else. I mean, it is a blessing, and I know that, and I know that most people do know that. It's just the reality of looking at it that way all the time is a little tougher.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Right? That's fair. We're all human, right? Exactly.
That's right. I think that
I'd be lying if I said I didn't raise my voice a few times over these last 2.5 weeks.
Oh yeah.
I mean, right?
Oh yeah. I'm kind of the yeller in the family, so it's typically once a day I get pretty heated up, and
I've become that.
For me, it's the bickering. The kid bickering is the thing that I go from 0 to 100 in a millisecond. There's a little bickering. It's oh my God, seriously, just give her the toy. Give him the toy. Right? Who cares?
It's our 3-year-old all the time. It's his nap time at 2 o'clock, and he's like, I want mommy to carry me up. I'm like, it doesn't matter. First of all, you're not getting carried up. You're 3. Second of all, it doesn't matter whether I or your mother take you up. You're going for your nap. What? And then he throws a stink. I'm just like, oh my goodness. Yeah. It's 2 o'clock.
Come on.
Right. And that's it. 2 o'clock. I'll look at Dawn and be like, we're halfway there.
Counting it down.
And it's hey, I know we were talking about this earlier. It's it's not 8 o'clock, open a bottle of wine. It's 6 o'clock and whatever. I don't have to get up until 8 tomorrow, and I'm not driving anywhere. So I can feed a baby and not feel 100%. It's fine. Yeah. Right?
That's awesome.
It's all good.
Oh, yeah.
It's all good.
So what's, just kind of, I guess, propelling things forward now and looking forward, when this does, kind of close out, you've talked a lot about preparations and things you're ramping up for. I mean, is there anything unique or offerings or anything that Nurture's kind of ready for? So when the governor says, hey, we're opening things back up, or Nurture's open again, is there anything that you kind of want to share with everybody on hey, we're going to be doing this at some point, whether that, whatever, tomorrow or May 1st or June 1st or whatever that is.
So
what are you guys thinking of doing?
The first thing is we're going to be expanding hours. I can't tell you what those hours exactly are going to be yet. It's going to depend on when we come back and how much of that load of patients that were booked that we couldn't see that we've now got it's a square peg in a round hole, right? And it's a big square peg in a tiny round hole. So we're going to figure that out. So we're going to expand hours to accommodate as many people as possible that are patients currently, and anybody that's going to give us their little ringy dingy. You can call us now and you're going to get your call answered.
Awesome.
Kelly does a wonderful job with the phones. If the 3-4 weekends out of the entire year that she doesn't answer the phones over the weekend, it's on me. It's always fun to surprise a patient that's calling on a Sunday, and they think they're just going to get the message like, Nurture Family Dental, this is done. It's like, and that's part of the culture thing, right? In the experience we want to provide to our patients, we try and answer the phone whenever you call. Doesn't matter when. So we're always available. We're always available via phone. You can text us too at our phone number you can find on our website. So we're going to expand hours. We are looking at a new quarterly promotion that we're going to be doing for any of our patients that are current or new patients. Details on that are going to be coming out, but the grand prize for this is going to be tickets to the Kenny Chesney concert at Ford Field in August.
Nice.
Dawn and I are going to be going, so we'll meet up with them, just kind of have a drink or two with them as well as and get them tickets. We've got some new promotions internally that we're working on for some ClearCorrect. Dawn has taken it on her to learn more about ClearCorrect. She's always been doing it, but she's really trying to hone that craft now, more of a specialty. We do have wonderful.
I don't even know what that is. I don't even know.
So it's like the clear braces.
Okay.
Yep. So we have a growing patient base of young families, and those young families have kids that are teenagers. We have specialists that we refer to for orthodontics for some more complex cases, but Dawn's learning more and more on treating that in-house, and she's doing a wonderful job. She's becoming very, very good at it. So we're going to be looking at running some specials for those, because those can be expensive cases. We're looking to kind of minimize some of the burden for the families as well for that. And then I'm getting with our marketing team to work on some new patient specials as well for when we do come back. I don't have the details on that yet either. That's going to be kind of a new thing for us with the new patient specials. We don't really like to get into the Groupon side of things, but we want to help the community out as much as possible. Everybody's going to have some kind of economic burden this year, and we're looking to lessen that load for everybody as well too, with knowing that we feel like we can provide better care to them than pretty much anybody in the area, even though there are a lot of great providers in the area. So that being said, I think the biggest thing for us is just to make sure that our team's ready and willing to make sure that we can see that capacity when we do open back up. And that's not a question in our mind. Everybody's ready. I'll continue to monitor the situation, talk with our team continuously, and make sure that they're able and willing to continue to expand their hours when we do open up. That tune hasn't changed from them yet. I don't expect it to change. So we'll be ready to hit the button and hit that big green button and say, let's do this when we come back. It's going to be awesome. And then looking forward to, I know I heard your call last week with Jimmy. I hope to God that your 5K is still in place. We'll be a part of it again this year. Looking forward to that. Who knows, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's definitely up in the air. We're gonna we're gonna wait till it's reasonable to make the final call. Part of it hinders on if Taste of Brighton is gonna happen or not, and I'm sure they're gonna wait till the last minute to see what they can do with that event.
For sure.
But at worst case, we'll do some kind of a virtual 5K, which some events are moving towards. But we're far enough out to where we're staying hopeful that we'll be able to pull it together, because I think around that time too, it'd be cool to have everybody come together for a good cause, and that's a feel good, get out, get active, communal, type of event.
Absolutely, it was awesome.
Annual, and you guys are always huge supporters of that and everything else we do. So obviously, we'll love to have the Nurture team back out there. Hopefully,
absolutely, right in full force, man. We'll have T-shirts or something this year. Yeah,
I like it. Yeah. I was thinking about the promotions real quick. I think that for maybe any new patient that comes in, they could get access to your booty shaking video. That might be a really good one, for for those that maybe don't know about it. It's floating around on social media somewhere. Long story short, Dustin went to a leadership conference. He was challenged to like a booty shaking competition with balls in a bucket on his butt, and he won the competition.
You're darn right I did. You're darn right I did. Proud too, darn it. Yeah, there's no evidence of that, bad lad.
That's right. You should have got a trophy or something. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
I think I got a $5 gift card to Starbucks or something, and I don't even drink coffee, so we just gave it to a patient when we came back. Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, sure, we can set that up, Mark. Yeah, free video.
Excellent.
That's what the people want.
That's right. That's awesome.
Oh, man.
Dustin, it's been awesome talking with you, and I don't know if
likewise,
you have anything else from Nurture, but for those that are watching, Nurture Family Dental, again, they're in downtown Brighton, kind of behind what was the street? You're behind Chalmichi's.
Yep. So we're on North Street.
North Street.
We're like a block behind the Main Street Ventures. So like we're right behind Chalmichi's, across the street from Fifth Third Bank. That's been there for quite some time. So yeah, we've got a sign where they got the big green awning out front of the big brick building, and we're just down the street from Champs. Yep, just west of Champs, down on North Street. So we're there. And as far as plugging us, I think I've done enough of that. I want to say thanks to Fund to Life and you, Mark, and the relationship that we've been able to build. Like I said, this was something that I really didn't think about and anticipate when we first purchased the business in 2016, but it's been my favorite part of it. And talk about a silver lining. You, my friend, are a silver lining to everybody. And I heard Jimmy say something about this at the end of your guys' video last week, and I'm going to second it. He talked about how many people you know, like from 8 to 80. Everybody knows Mark Howell. And I remember we went to the coffee house. When the heck are you running for mayor, man? Like, I could not believe how many people came up to us to say hi to you. I was like, this dude is the man. Like, you're like the Don of Brighton. I love it. I love it.
Well, you better watch yourself. I'm the Don. You better watch yourself. You know?
Free demo work. There you go.
That's right. Now we're
I want to thank you, and to be honest, like it was a no-brainer when I say we kind of talked as a team and who we really wanted to focus a lot of our charitable stuff towards. Fund to Life was at the forefront. Nobody second guessed it. Nobody came up with anything else. It was you, and a lot of it's because of you and the person that you are and the family of yours that we've gotten to know and love. You guys are great people, and great people deserve great things, and you're doing a wonderful thing for the local community. And that was one of the biggest impacts. Was I know a lot of the dollars that you do grant locally, and that's big to us, because then you're paying it forward into our own community, and that's the kind of things that we want to grow into as we get bigger and involved and have less business debt and all that fun stuff too. So you're shining the light, as you said, and we want to just kind of reflect that back on the community for you. So whatever we can do.
Thank you for all the kind
words.
I mean, it's only made possible by the support of people and companies like you guys. So you guys are an awesome family. You have an awesome company, and I'm honestly just honored and blessed to know you guys and be a part of your family. I consider myself a part of your family, and
heck yeah, man.
It's we always have such a good time together, and it's always awesome talking with you. And for those watching, check out Nurture Family Dental when things do open back up. Please give them a call, and if nothing else, even if you're happy with your dental office or whatever, just stop in and say hi. I'm telling you right now, you'll be blown away. It's different. The feel is different. The vibe is different. That's all I can say. You just got to check it out. And Dustin has an awesome personality, and the rest of his staff, they kind of mirror that same thing. So it's just one of a kind. So Dustin, thank you so much, dude. You're awesome. We love you guys, and just thank you for all the support. And we'll be talking soon.
It'll keep coming, buddy. Love you too, man. Thanks so much for this. I really appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks, Dustin.
See you.